Hello, everyone. Welcome to Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Reynolds, and we got a great show tonight. We got an awesome guest with us tonight. He is a Bigfoot researcher of 40 years, and he's well known in the Bigfoot community as well as the paranormal community. Um, we were going to have him on last week, but Mother Nature said otherwise, so we got him this week. Just bear with him because he is having connection issues. That's what happens when you live in the backwoods. So, without further ado, we're going to bring him on, and then at the end of the show, we are going to talk about the Rock Island Roadhouse Expo as well, and the Devil on the Run tour. I've been getting a pile of questions about it, and we're related to the Warrens, as you can see the banner behind us. So we'll see if he's got his connection back again. It looks like he's got a black screen, so we'll go ahead and talk about the Rock Island Paracon until he comes back on. Um, so the Rock Island Paracon will be in October, on October 4th. It starts, is the expo. If you're coming in Friday night, there will be stuff going on Friday night. Stories around the campfire with Grizzly Chris, some paranormal UFOs, as well as Bigfoot, Sasquatch. My guest, Watchman, will also be there. Um, we are going to be there as well. Um, they've got us listed there as well as one of the vendors. The Devil on the Run tour. Many people have been asking about it. It will be there. Everything is still going on as planned. Everybody's carrying forward. Uh, Even though Dan is passed away, but Dan will be there in spirit. There is a Chris put out a video today for Nesper, so let me bring that up and I will play that for you.
And I'm at the Warrens Occult Museum. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the big news with Matt Rife and Elton purchasing the Warrens house and the museum. Now, the museum items are still owned by Judy and Tony, and the caretakers are still Nesper, myself, Wade. We're all still taking care of the items. They're still in Tony and Judy's possession. But everybody that's been concerned about the Devils on the Run tour and our stops, they're all going on as planned. We're going to finish those out the rest of the year. We have 3 more: Augusta, Maine, in the beginning of September, and then in October we have we'll be in Rock Island, Illinois, and then our final stop is Scarefest down in Kentucky. So all you people that have your concerns, you have your tickets, all the promoters that are putting on these events, we're still coming. We're still doing all our tours, and there's going to be no difference. Of course, Dan isn't going to be there. We're going to miss him, but he's going to be there in spirit, just the way he wanted. He wouldn't want it any other way. So we're gonna keep on going. So don't worry about it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna see you all there, and thank you.
So they will be there. Annabelle will be there as well. So without further ado, I see Squatchman is back. We're going to add him to the stage, and we'll get the show started. I can hear you now.
What's going on, brother?
Not much. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you.
Yeah, I hope I don't break up, man. I'm in a very rural area with no reception, so I'm trying, man.
So far, you sound good. I can hear you clearly.
Cool. Excellent.
Tell my audience a little bit about yourself and what got you started into the Sasquatch research.
Oh man. Um, shit. What got me started? I reckon me and my sister when we was kids. One of my grandparents they had a big farm up here in North Mississippi, and that's pretty much what got me started. I was probably I don't know 10, maybe 8, 10, and my grandpa had a big farm up there, and he had a big round pen, if you know what that is, in the front of their house with a big tree, and that's where he trained his horses and kept his mule tied up at with barbed wire all around it. And he had a big pole barn behind it, and had a big chute off to the right hand side by a tree line. And he grew apples and watermelons and stuff like that behind it. But we never got none of that. And me and my sister had this bright idea. We wanted some of them big old green apples, man. And
Mhm.
so my grandpa was plowing the fields on the other end with the mule. So me and my sister crawled up through that little barbed wire fence and went to the other side. And he had a big old Bravo bull he kept that was on the end of the chute, and we call it chutes. I don't know what y'all call it now, but it was a stall with a chute. And we went behind that and got some apples and come back.
Sorry, guys. He's in a real bad area, so we may lose him from time to time. Um, so w- he's back on.
All right, cool. Damn, this fucking reset. And uh, on the way back, on the way there, we heard something on the corner of the barn, the chute, um, and it sounded like a tree or something fell. And we looked up, and it was like this big, little, giant monkey just sitting there on top of the corner looking at us. And man, we was freaked out because like I said, we was kids, hell, and
Right.
and then it left, and I'm like, okay, well, we didn't see it. We turned around and looked for Grandpa, because we knew he was gonna get that razor strap if he called us back there, and so we was already there, so we went and got the house and crossed back up under the barbed wire and got almost to that big. It's a huge tree, dude. I mean, it was huge, right in the center, and we got almost there, and that bull got loose, man, and run through that posted gate with the barbed wire. He was running toward us, and me and my sister, man, we dropped them little apples, man. We got right before we got to that tree, whatever that was we seen, it stepped between me and my sister, man, and just grabbed it and snapped his head, graveyard dead, right there on the spot, just twitches right there. And man, me and my sister looked at each other, and about that time, my grandpa seen it, and then my grandma come running out of the house, and I just knew I wasn't gonna never see my next birthday. And
Right.
I looked around, I looked back at it, and it walked all the way to the end of the chute where the tree line was, and walked through the tree line. So that'd probably be my first experience with one. But like hell, that was we was kids, we didn't know what it was. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then later on, years went by. My grandparents own all the land now, but they we found out that my grandpa kept the tree line clear just for them. They protected my grandpa and my grandma, and he grew all that fruit for them. You know,
Mhm.
and we found that out years and years later. So that's pretty much what got me interested in it, besides my brother. But yeah, it's intriguing. My brother was in Vietnam. He did and he come back home, man. He was all messed up. And he used to keep telling me about these rock apes, and I've never heard that before. And
Mhm.
that's pretty much what got me into it with him, and that's where I started from. So I've been intrigued with them ever since, man. I don't call them animals. They're not animals. They're not creatures. They're beings, man, like us,
Right.
but just a different kind of being. They're very intelligent. Um, it's the everybody's wondering now why there's more and more sightings of them. And well, first of all, it's like the Indians. I'm for the Indians. They're taking their land, and every
Mhm.
field you go to in the middle of nowhere, they're clearing the land to put up a damn dollar store or something.
Right.
They force their hand out. So yeah, they gonna come out. You're gonna see them. And yeah, they gonna be a little ticked off at your ass. You're
Yep.
taking their land. You know, so yeah, that's pretty much how I got started. If that answered your question.
Yeah. We had an interesting experience. We were headed to Gettysburg, and we were going up to the Allegheny Mountains. And you know how when you go
Oh
up to
yeah.
the mountain, you got all them sharp turns? And my car's got those LED headlights, and as we crested the one hill and hit that one turn, my headlights hit something raiding the trash can. And my dad spotted I was concentrating on the road because it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and he says, "You're not gonna believe what I just saw." I said, "What?" He said, "I just saw a Bigfoot." And
Hmm.
it stood up with the trash can lid in its hand. It was squatted down in there, and when it stood up, it looked at him and curled its lip at him, like saying, "Hey, if you stay here any longer, I'm gonna throw something at you or do something." I never
Wow.
did get to see it because I was too focused on the road going up through those mountains, and so I got looking up reports, and there's been a lot of sightings up in those Allegheny Mountains.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
right down the road is the entrance to the Shawnee National Park.
Uh-huh.
And the house where it was raiding that trash can, the house sits way back up in the mountain up in there. We got KHR797 Kenneth says, "Howdy, howdy, all, and hey, good buddy, Squatch Man."
Yeah, that's my brother Kenneth, man. He just moved to damn, sorry, Kenny, Virginia. Yeah, that's my buddy.
And my cousin Don says, "My cousin Lee Spooner is a Bigfoot researcher. We've had quite a few sightings in Florida. She's down there with Skunk Ape."
I'm I'm trying to get a reception, man. Oh,
That's right.
all right.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're froze up, but I can still hear you.
Yeah, you breaking up too. I don't know if it's me or you, man. It's probably me.
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good now. I think we may have lost him, guys. Yep, we lost him again. So we'll go back to talking about the Rock Island Paracon Expo. Yeah, I got some serious stuff to investigate here. I'll be awesome. Yeah, if you guys are interested in volunteering at the expo this year, they need volunteers pretty good. Reach out to Sarah from Get Haunted and Candy from they're running the expo this year, and if you're interested in that, holler at them. And looks like Squatch Man is back. But Granzer, he's in Mississippi in a rural area where they don't get very good reception. But you can also get to meet Squatch Man at the Rock Island Roadhouse Expo. He will be there as well. Um, there's going to be a lot of vendors there, including myself. Get Haunted, Next of Kin, Paranormal. Nesper will be there with the Devils on the Run tour. So you'll get to meet him. Empty Casket Paranormal, Vixen Paranormal. There's just a lot of vendors that are going to be there and paranormal investigators. There's a lot of them from the 28 Days Haunted. If you're interested, you've watched that show. If not, I suggest check it out on Netflix. Um, otherwise, stream is back and forth. Got to go to an area. Yeah, true. Or just call. Yeah, right. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty good expo. We're looking forward to it in October. Some events we've got going on September 27th. We will be in Caney, Kansas at Bordertown Paracon. Um, and then October 4th, Rock Island Expo. Um, the next weekend after that, we will be at ErieCon at Ashmore. And then after that, we just got confirmed we will be helping out with the haunted house again this year. So I'm not going to ruin the surprise of what character I'm going to be this year. So you guys will just have to come down and get scared and figure it out. Yeah, a long way for him to travel. He's at a farm, his farm for service. Yeah, I've lived up in the woods. I know what he's going through. Where I used to live in the Catskill Mountains in New York State, we didn't have great service there as well. Um, internet service sucked. We ended up having to go with HughesNet internet service, and it still wasn't the greatest. Before that, we had dial up, and even TV. We were, for the most part, we were on antenna before digital satellite TV came out. So I know how he feels. I mean, where I lived, my backyards were just straight woods. So we lived in the middle of nowhere. He's back on. We'll see if we got a good reception this time.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's still breaking up here. I'm sorry, man. It's just the reception where I'm at. I got 10,000 acres across the street from me, and I'm on a dead end road, so it's kind of hard for me to get a reception.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Missouri's like that too. In spots, you get into these low-lying areas and you don't get nothing.
Hmm. See if I can get a better one.
So far, I can hear you pretty good. You're not
All
breaking
right.
up. Yeah, I mean that it's hard in those middle of nowhere areas. I get it. With all that, I mean services, it's kind of crazy. Like I said, we deal with it in middle of nowhere here in Missouri too, as well. You get into those low-lying areas, and it's just crazy with stuff that's going on. Um, while we're waiting for him to come back on, there's some other things I want to address. I mean, I'm getting people bombarding me because they know I'm related to the Warrens. Asking me if it's true. Yeah, it is true that Matt, Reef, and Elton from Overnight Paranormal, they did buy Ed and Lorraine's house. So that being said, it's more of Nesper's story to tell. So just keep an eye on their page for everything that's going on. Everything's still in order, as far as I know from when I talked to them. They just bought the house. Like the video, if you just tuned in, I shared a video which you can go on Facebook to the New England Society for Psychic Research. Chris Galoran from Nesper posted a video. If you're concerned about the Warrens Occult Museum, Nesper still owns all the items. They just bought the house and the property. That's it. And Nesper's still caretakers of it. So I hope that answers everybody's questions that have been bombarding me with it. It's a new, exciting chapter for Nesper and the Warrens' legacy. I mean, it was something Dan wanted to, so I'm excited for it to see how it goes, and my prayers are with them all that it goes well with everything. Hey, Phyllis, welcome in. My guest is having reception issues because he's out in the middle of nowhere, so we'll get him back on when he comes back on. So I'm going to chit chat with you guys, clearing up a bunch of stuff that I've been getting bombarded with questions as far as Ed and Lorraine stuff. The Warren's Occult Museum, like I said, Devil on the Run tour, which is going to be at the Rock Island Roadhouse Expo, is still going on. So anybody that's got your tickets for it, it's still going. Nothing's changed on that. They're still going to do events. So, only from what I've seen with Elton and Matt, eventually you'll be able to tour Ed and Lorraine's house. And I think they're going to open it up to investigations, but for respectful investigations, people that are going to be respectful, not going and provoke and do all sorts of stuff. That is what I've heard so far. The rest is Nesper's story to tell. Whatever else is going on, just follow them on Facebook. Yeah, I will be. I'll repeat them for you. I will be September 27th. I will be in Caney, Kansas, at the Border Town Paracon. That will be on September 27th. We will be there, and then October 4th, we will be at the Rock Island Expo. There is a program that they are printing out that you'll be able to find all of us, because there's going to be over 100 and some vendors there. I know we are in the basement with Ken 10 Paranormal and several other paranormal teams, Empty Casket Paranormal. We're down in there. That program's also got where all the speaker schedules are and what floors they're speaking on. I know there's a bunch speaking down in the basement too as well. We're not guest speaking at that one, but you're welcome to come to our booth and talk to us about podcasting, the paranormal, um, stuff like that, our knowledge in demonic stuff or paranormal in general. I mean, we're there to educate everybody and stuff like that. And then after that, we will be at Ashmore Estates at ErieCon on the 11th of October. That's for it's called ErieCon. It's for the men in the paranormal. We will be guest speakers at that one. I will post the details as soon as I get them. When Jen Jacobs gets it all posted, I'll share it on my page. And then October 16th and 17th, we'll be helping out with the haunted house, the Madhouse Haunted House this year again. I am not going to ruin the surprise and tell you guys what character I'm playing this year, but it's from what I was told, it's going to be a good one, and it went well last year. I got some good scares in last year on people, so this year is going to be no different. And I've had some of my friends go through there and didn't realize who I was, and I scared the living daylights out of them. So, status on the book: I've got 2 more chapters left, and the book will be done, and then it'll be sent off to the publisher. Hey, Sandy, welcome in. We're just chit chatting. My guest, Squatch Man, he's having service issues, so he's out in the middle of nowhere at his farm, so they don't get very good reception out there. Um, and then after that, that should finish us up for the year. I've also got a movie I've been writing as well, which I'm hoping to get finished up soon here, and then work on getting filming locations, and got the blueprint done. I'm working on scripts and stuff now, and flashback scenes for the movie, and then we're gonna get it worked on and see who we can get to film crew and locations and stuff like that. I've been in contact with several people about locations. If you're wondering what shirt I'm wearing, that is the Ghost Girl shirt for my good friend Brandy. Check her out on Facebook. She has merch for sale. Um, so yeah, definitely come on through, check it out. Um, so, but yeah, again, check out the Rock Island Expo. Uh, like I said, that will be on October 4th. If you're coming in Friday night, I believe they have stuff going on October 3rd, that Friday night, where they'll be sitting around the campfire talking spirit squatches and stories. It's $40 from 7 to midnight. I think Grizzly Chris is going to be at that one, talking about his Bigfoot stuff, and I think Squatch Man might be at that one too, I believe. So make sure you come see Squatch Man there as well. Yeah, I do follow the Foreman brothers. Yeah, I follow Paranormal Nightmare TV. In their recent video, they were in an area that was by railroad tracks. Trains are still active there. I'll have to check that one out. But yeah, I do. I'm subscribed to their channel. Um, so yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. It looks like Squatchman's probably not going to be able to make it back on. He must not be getting good service, but um, I can put a link in the chat if anybody wants to jump on and talk about any paranormal stories they've got, any experiences they've had. I will put the link in the chat here, and people can jump online if you like. You have any experience with spirits attached to railroad tracks? Uh, yeah. I mean, we have one here. It's in like northeast Missouri. There is a old abandoned ghost town up there, and there was a train train derailment up there, and a woman got decapitated. She When the train wrecked, I guess she went flying out the window, and she said to haunt the railroad tracks up there. There's an old tunnel that goes into the town, and with a railroad bridge, and she said to be haunting that. They see her on the outskirts there walking at night. They say the whole town is actually haunted. There's still an old cemetery up in there. There's still one house left. One resident lived in there till the day they died. I think she lived to be about 95 when she passed away, and she was the only resident to live in that ghost town. Spoiler, there were a few deaths that the Foreman brothers were able to talk to. Don't quote me, but I want to say the Foreman brothers were in Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky's got a lot of history. I mean, you got not just your Sasquatch activity in Kentucky. I mean, you got the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. You've got Fort Duffy. Um, the Ditto House is out there. That's owned by my good friends Denise and Ernie Pack, and my buddy Brian Peony that wrote These Walls Still Talk. He's actually out there at the Ditto House now writing his new book on that house and his experiences out there, and he's been writing in all these haunted rooms, the murder room, and all kinds of stuff out there. I think part of the story in that area and the way past there was a guy who would somehow jump on the train with a person tied, and that person would get dragged. Oh wow. Yeah, I mean I could see that back in your old 1800s Western days too. They used to hook people to back of trains and stuff like that, or time the train tracks. And Kentucky is like that. I mean, what happened in the past? Why? Well, you figure Kentucky had its issues with the Civil War as well. I mean, from the South down there, they've had their battles. I mean, you got the Appalachian Mountains that go through there. That's got all that strange activity that goes on all the way up to West Virginia. I mean, between the Pharaoh people and your Bigfoots, and there's a lot of energy up in there with all that water and stuff too. You've got that mineral water up there, that limestone and stuff, and quartz and all that stuff, which is just stuff that holds energy and just brings it out. I think also about a guy who was a conductor and he'd like to throw people off the train regardless if they had a ticket or not. Oh wow. Yeah, I wonder why he would do that unless these people were like vagrants or causing trouble. But like Missouri out here, you have your issues with the trains too. I mean, back then you had Jesse James who was robbing the trains with his crew, him and Frank, and then the younger crew. So maybe that's another reason why people got thrown off trains too. Maybe they were trying to thought, oh, I'm gonna rob this train, and didn't realize they got overpowered and got thrown off the train. It's hard to say back then. I think they said he just got kicked out of it, got a rush and laugh from it. Crazy guy. Oh yeah, I mean they're back then. Some people are crazy. I mean even nowadays, it's still like that too as well. Um, you see more and more of it, even in the paranormal field too. You're starting to see a lot of it. I mean, with all the bullying that's going on and people trashing this one, trashing that one, and it's just nuts. But yeah, I saw Squatch Man tried to come back on, but it kicked them back off. So we'll, we'll probably just do another hour of it, chit chatting. If you guys got any questions for me, feel free to post them up in the chat. If you want to pick my brain about paranormal stuff or the demonic stuff we do and deal with, um, feel free. Russell, do you follow any of those contacts who would jump on trains travel? Always wondered. Uh, I haven't ever seen anybody do it. I mean, I don't watch too much paranormal YouTube. Um, I mean that's not my thing, but I mean there's some things that are interesting because of some of the locations I like to watch if they've been to a location that I've been at to see if they're legitly experiencing what we have at these locations or but I don't watch too much of that YouTube paranormal stuff. I don't know if anyone ever asked the content creators I've seen. I think one of them passed away. I mean, I've watched Sam and Kobe a few times. I've watched the Foreman Brothers, Overnight Paranormal. I've watched them, and I've checked out Mindseed. I've checked out Omar Russell. Oh yeah, the hobos. I'm sure would still jump on trains for free travel. Yeah, I mean, you never know. A lot of them may have drank themselves to death on a train car and died on there. So their spirit is doing that residual loop that it's acting like it's jumping back on a train car. I think there was a spike in that around the late 2010. Oh, I'm sure with it. I mean, when you deal with that, and I mean, I think there's still hobos that try to jump the trains again, but I know they're very heavily patrolled. So a hobo is that is a content creator, kind of cool. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Never seen that, but I mean, there's some videos I question that are they legit or are they fake? I mean, you see some of these on YouTube that show a lot of these paranormal videos. That's all they do is show these creepy videos, and some of them are pretty interesting to see about what they come up with and what they catch. I mean, and if you notice, a lot of it's in overseas in like Asia and different countries over there. And I know my buddy Rob Demarest told me that overseas is pretty haunted because when he was with GHI and Haunted Australia, he spent a lot of time over there. So he would tell me some stories about some of the places he's checked out over there. And in fact, I think he's still over there. He's overseas right now. Rob is. Yeah, they used to have a few of them on YouTube, but they may have stopped. They would have a camera on their phone, and people would donate to them for all kinds of things so they'd have money. Oh, that's cool. Popular hobo, I think he got sick and died, found him on the side of the tracks tucked away. Oh, I'm sure living that kind of lifestyle out there, they are prone to all kinds of diseases because I mean they're not bathing regularly, they're living in filth and stuff like that. I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, growing up in New York State, going to New York City and stuff, you would see them all over the place on the sides of the road. Even in Albany, New York, the state capital, my dad and I would go up there and visit family, and you'd see them out there in them neighborhoods and stuff on the sides of the roads. And even here in Missouri, we see occasional few. We've got one that'll stand on the ramp off of Highway 36, and he'd have a sign up asking for money that he's homeless. But he does have a car. His car's parked across the road, and that's where he stays out of. But so, if anybody's got any more questions, feel free to post them up. Um, I'll try to answer them the best I can. Because it doesn't look like Squatch Man's going to make it back. So I apologize for that. You know how service is when it comes down to it. Um, See, I will show you one of my paranormal videos. I don't know if many people have seen this one. This was at a hotel that we were at. Um, we investigated, and it's got it's got some history to it, mob history, as well as a famous gangster stayed there. Pretty Boy Floyd. Harry Truman was also staying there. Supposedly stayed there. I mean, there's the former owners took all the records, so in the guest book. So, but the owner was accused of having a mob speakeasy in the basement. He also he had a he was bootlegging liquor because he owned the liquor store, and he was sending it through the tunnels to the basement of the hotel into a speakeasy. And they found a shovel that was in there that was broken. That used to be a symbolized from the mob that if you speak about anything, murders or anything like that, that's what would happen to you. And supposedly there is a woman buried in the wall somewhere, and the old bootleg truck's buried under the hotel. Russell, have you ever been on or have had Andy Decodes of Alien? No, I've never had him on yet. Um, I need to reach out to a few of them. A lot of them are busy this time of year. This is a hard time to really get a hold of people because we're all starting to get busy. My guest next week is Empty Casket Paranormal Bill, who has he's an equipment builder, and he's also a he's got a talking board museum of all Ouija boards. So that's going to be. I had a conversation with him at Missouri State, and we were talking about a lot of that stuff. So that'll be a pretty good show next week. Um, I am also a guest on a podcast on the 7th. Um, I will post details when I get it. I don't know if it's a live show or it's pre-recorded. Um, Also, if you check out Channel 12 on Facebook and subscribe to them, you can view my episode on the White Witch Paranormal Show. I was on there last Monday night. I was on there. Um, Myself's been on there. Carter Bouchard, our Missouri Bigfoot guy. There's been several on there. Definitely check it out. We talk about a lot of interesting topics on that TV show. Um, so the Duke Sullivan World Bigfoot Central. Now he's another one I haven't had on. I'm gonna have to, Granzo, you have to send me an email with all these names so I can send it at beyondlifeparanormalresearch@gmail.com and give me a whole list of names, and I'll reach out to them and get them on the show. Is that a UK? Another cool little podcast. Is that a Japan? Oh, I know Irene, Amanda, and Irene. Yeah, I love Irene. She's cool. Her and I, we talk quite a bit on Facebook. Irene and I do. Yeah, she's very knowledgeable. Irene is, and I know Amanda as well. When I was on Supernatural Link, they would pop in from time to time. Once in a while, Irene still pops on here from time to time. So I'm going to show you guys a little evidence video from the hotel that we investigated. This is probably, I want to say, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. And check this out. I'm not going to say what made the noise. You'll see me actually go and try to debunk it and recreate it. What the hell?
Was that you?
No. Something obviously didn't like me coming back here.
I told you don't go back there.
Is this... How in the hell would that do that? It's like something lifted it up. Went like that. And that was in the hotel, and I was back there by myself. The other people who you hear talking, they were way far away up in the front up there. And they heard it as well from all the way up there. And that place has several confirmed deaths. It's burnt down like 3 times and been rebuilt. And a fireman had fell to his death. He was battling a fire. He was up on the roof. And this was the previous hotel that burnt down. And he got overcame with smoke, and he thought he was jumping down to the next roof. Well, he ended up going through the skylight, and he ended up falling to his death. A piece of glass come down and pierced through his fire coat right into his heart. And they say he haunts the place. The former owner, George Opp, he actually overlooks the place. He's buried right there in the cemetery, right up on top of the hill, so he can overlook his farm and the hotel. One night, this was a cool little experience, which is also in my book coming out. My dad and I, we investigated with my team. The rest of my team decided, they were going to go stay at a hotel. My dad and I were like, no, we're going to stay here tonight. We're not going to spend the money in a hotel. She had a little storefront set up. She had a couch and a chair in there, so we decided to stay there. I started off in the chair and kept getting that feeling I was being watched coming from the old hallway that goes to the ballroom. So finally started nodding off, and then my dad woke up and he's like, here, go over on the couch. And I got over on the couch, started nodding off, and about 3 o'clock in the morning, the generator kicks off. Out goes the camera system, the little light we had on in the storefront. So we said, heck with it. We're not going to put any more fuel in it. We'll just let it go for the rest of the night. So started nodding off, and my dad says to me, hey, you awake? And then I opened my eyes. I said, what? He says, look in the doorway. So I look in the doorway, and here's a 6'5" black shadow figure standing there looking at us. And it just stood there, didn't do nothing, just a big black mass. And then it just disappeared. And we think it might have been the former owner, George Opp. He was checking on his guests because the power went out. And they say even when he was alive, he was a pretty good man. There was a lot of people that didn't like him. He was from Germany, big old German guy, 6'5", burly guy. He wrestled in a wrestling match out there in that town, and so we went back after that, and it was my dad and two other team members, and we were in the lobby talking to the owner. And this was about 9 o'clock at night, and my dad rings a bell, and it's one of them old little shaker bells, and he went to sit down in the chair, and then this big old white light surrounded him. All of us seen it and couldn't explain it. Um, Even the first visit that we did of that place, my dad was sitting there watching the cameras, and this is middle of summer. Now, Missouri weather, if some of you are not familiar with Missouri, in the middle of summer, we get heat indexes over 106 at times. And it was hot. And we walk in the little storefront where the camera system is, and my dad's sitting there watching it. And you walk in there and you could see your breath. And I asked my dad, I said, "You all right?" He says, "No, I'm cold." And we ended up having to put a heat lamp on him, blankets on him, to get him warm back up. And I told whatever it was near him to get away. It didn't have permission to be near him or affect him. And then it finally backed away. That night, we also heard the piano play, and the piano is broke. It will not play a note whatsoever. Um, you hear footsteps in that place. That one morning I woke up, and that was the same morning that 6'5" shadow figure was there, and I heard voices, and I could have sworn people were inside the hotel with us. I got up, and I could hear footsteps, and I got up, and I was able to debunk the footsteps as they were raccoons in the walls. But the voices I couldn't debunk. I looked outside, there was nobody outside, and it sounded like it was coming directly in the middle of the hotel. It was like a whole conversation going, like people were in the actual building. And this was about 6 o'clock in the morning. And she does not allow, nobody can go and investigate this place. This place is closed down to the public. We were just called in by her. Um, there was a bunch of kids broke in there and vandalized it. And the one kid never got caught. Come to find out, he'd been going in there several times, and he was playing with Ouija boards in the basement. And so I walked him in there and showed him how bad this place is, that it needs repaired. If you're in here messing around and nobody knows you're in here and a beam falls on you, that's going to be it for you. Russell, yes, Andy, the codes. Yep, Spooky Japan, yep. But yeah, that was a cool experience there. I'll fast forward to our recent here investigation at Missouri State would get haunted. Um, we talked about it a little bit and this is for the ones that didn't watch that show when I talked about it. We were out there for the Get Haunted book signing, and Brian Peony, a friend of ours, which was on my show, um, he wrote a book called These Walls Still Talk. He spent 8 weeks in the Missouri State Penitentiary just writing in different places of the prison. He would go down to the dungeon, but he wouldn't go down to the dungeon by himself. He would sit in cell house 4 writing. He would go in cell 20 and death row and 3D. He wouldn't go to 3D by himself either. But some of the experiences we had there, we first started off my group that I was in, and my dad, my friend Ashley, my friend Linda, um, was pretty interesting. We started off with Bill from Empty Casket, and his objective, what we were gonna do was we were all just gonna sit quiet and just use our senses and get the feel of the place. We weren't gonna use any kind of equipment and stuff. And Brian's daughter was in my group. She was filming. Well, my dad sees a black shadow figure right in the cell block on death row, and she was able to get it on film. They were going in and out of the cells, so we decided. Bill decided that we were gonna split up, and I said, "I'll take my group and we'll go down the other end while they stayed on this end." So we get down there. I go in the first cell, and I decide to lay on the bed in one of the bunks, and immediately you could feel like the pressure on your chest and head, like, "Hey, you're laying in my bunk," and you could tell I shouldn't have been doing that, and so they kept seeing a shadow down at the other end, and down at the other end there was a inmate that got stabbed. He was a rat. He got stabbed to death by 4 other inmates right in front of a guard, and back then the guards were only armed with a whistle and a billy club. You got 6 inmates with shanks coming after you. That guard couldn't do nothing about it. And so we walked down the cell block. Ashley walked through the door and she felt like something go like this on the top of her head, like a cobweb type feeling. And then she felt it on her arm. So I come through shortly behind her, and it feels like cobwebs just go right across my arm. And I took my light and looked everywhere, tried to debunk it, couldn't debunk it. I later talked to Sheila, who is the boss of the tour guides of the prison, and she told me I had inmates in there cleaning that whole cell block, so there's no cobwebs whatsoever. So that was a pretty interesting experience. And then after that, we they went to the gas chamber. My dad, myself, and Linda, we stayed. It was hot. I mean, heat index was 100, so we kind of stayed right at cell house 3. We didn't even bother to go to the gas chamber. We just sat on the steps and started investigating, doing our own little investigation outside in the yard, because not many people investigate the yard of Missouri State. And a lot of people don't realize there used to be a chapel right there that is no longer there because of the tornado that went through. So after that, we ended up going up to the female wing, and we were up there with Joe and Dom from Next of Kin Paranormal, and great group of guys to investigate with. They know their stuff. Um, Check them out on Facebook as well. And so we were doing the human pendulum and the dowsing rods up there. So my friend Ashley, she was the pendulum. I was in the front, and another guy was in the back. And if you've never done the human pendulum, what it is basically like the pendulum that you have swinging, but only you're using people. You're letting the spirit move you back and forth. And hey, Jeanette, welcome in. My guest, he has bad reception, so he's not going to be able to get back on. So we're just kind of chit chatting. I'm talking about my experiences at Missouri State, several locations that we've been to. Um, so what you do is you got one person in the front that's got their hands out like this, another person in the back with their hands, and that person in the middle rocks back and forth, and that spirit controls them for yes and no. And we started communicating with a male spirit, which is weird in the female wing, um, but it ended up being a personal relative. It was weird. A lot of people's personal relatives were coming through that night. Um, it was a guy's brother, and then they started doing the dowsing rods, and so we were talking, and Joe was getting pushed out of the conversation. It was like this female inmate that come through on the dowsing rod. She did not want Joe talking. She did not like him. And he was like, I've never been pushed out of a conversation before like that. And I said, well, they're not much for men up here in the women's section. A lot of times, usually we don't get, if there's men up there, you don't get activity in the female wing. Um, so I asked, is there anybody else that you don't like and want to talk to? And the dowsing rods pointed at me. So Joe and I were just like kind of on the back burner, just had to step back and just let them do the thing. Nobody wanted to talk to us. And we had a cat ball sitting up on top of the catwalk up there that kept going off up top. Um, so that was a pretty interesting experience. Millimeter never went off. When we went down to 3D with Bill and that, I had the millimeter setting in the middle of the floor, and they were doing an Estes method, and the REM pod on the millimeter kept just lighting up just a little bit. It would, and nobody's near it, nobody's touching the antenna, so we knew it had to be something paranormal. And so there is a spirit down there called Big Boy. It stands about 7 feet tall, and he's a big, tall, black figure. And he'll peek around by the shower, um, or he'll be by the doorway peeking around. And even in the female wing, there's a shadow that peeks around up there as well. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. We're just kind of chit chatting. My guest Squatch, man, he had bad service, so he's not going to be able to get back on. So I'm chit chatting about some of the locations I've been to and my experiences. So after that, we ended up down in the dungeon, which, if you're not familiar with Missouri State, the dungeon was built in the 1800s down there. It housed JB the Firebug down there. He was accused of arson. He set the prison on fire, killing a bunch of inmates and guards. So they put him down there for 18 years, and he ended up going blind down there. And we were down there with Rob from Get Haunted, Brian, and we started doing an EVP session. And then we would play back and listen to the EVPs. So we let guests start off, and I kind of sit back because this is what we do for all the time. So I try to let like these new guests and stuff on events get their feet wet and let them experience it. And so one guy started off, and we caught some. He caught something on EVP, but we couldn't make it out what it was. And then so Rob decided, said, "Who wants to go in the in your face cell?" Okay, are you talking about the wall? Yeah, I'm talking about the wall in Jeff City. Yeah, I'm talking about the dungeon. So Rob says anybody wants to go in the in your face cell by yourself and do an EVP session, and nobody would go. And Rob said, asked me, he said, "Will you do it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." I said, "I've been here before, so I've been in that cell." Um, I said the first time we were there with you guys and the Devils on the Run tour, we were doing an Estes method in there. My cousin, the late Dan Rivera, we were doing a Estes in there, and so I went in there. And Rob stayed on the outside of the door, and Brian's daughter's like, "Is it okay if I film you?" I said, "Yeah, that's fine. You can put a camera in there. You may catch something on your camera too that the recorder didn't catch. So yeah, go right ahead." And that's all right, Kathy. I did have Squatchman on, who was a Bigfoot researcher for 40 years, but he lives out in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi, so he didn't have the great service. That's who I had on tonight. That's Squatch Man. He will be at Rock Island Roadhouse Historic Expo with us in October. Um, so I asked 2 questions, um, and then Rob asked me to ask him, "Can you repeat the word peanut butter?" So we get back out after we finished. Rob plays it. We caught an EVP, and one of the questions I asked, I said, "Are you JB the Firebug?" And another question I asked was, "Are you the man from cell number 20?" Which a little history on cell number 20 is upstairs in the upper part of the cell block. When they were there the first time, Get Haunted and Nesper, they were using cell 20 for the store stuff, for the Warren stuff. And there was a spirit in the man that Wade picked up that was not happy that we were all there, and he would escape to the dungeon when people come because it's quiet down there. So when Rob played the EVP back, we got an EVP that says, "Don't let him go." We don't know if they were referring to me or what they were referring to. When I asked them to repeat the word peanut butter, we got something, but we couldn't make it out what it was. Rob had to go, have to clear it up. So after that, we decided to go lights out, completely dark, no camera, nothing. Ryan, he was standing in the corner. Rob's here on the floor. I'm across from them. And then there was a whole line of us standing along the wall. And so Brian's daughter was standing with her dad because she was kind of nervous. It was her first time being there, and going pitch dark like that in the dungeon. I mean, it's black. And we were watching these little light anomalies. I mean, there was red ones, white ones popping up, and we wanted to see if we can see some shadow play going on, because when you do that in the pitch dark, you are able to see black shadows when they come in front of you. It's somehow your eyes can pick them up in the darkness. Um, so she's standing there with her dad, and she feels something touch her leg, and I'm right across from her, and I saw it. There was a black shadow right in between both of us, and I told her, I said, "There's a black shadow right there, right in front of me." And she got nervous. I said, "It's okay. You're all right. You'll be all right." And she hugged her dad, and then shortly after that, this big light appeared right behind Brian and his daughter. And we thought somebody had lit his phone or his flashlight. When it lit up the whole cell block, that we could see everybody. I could see Rob sitting on the floor, the whole crew. I could see Brian and his daughter, and they both had their arms around each other. And that was the very first time I've ever experienced that big ball of light like that at Missouri State. Um, it was just a interesting, crazy experience. And then we went on free roam, and I was investigating with my friend Linda, and my dad was in the lobby, and he was getting activity in the lobby. He loves that lobby part. He gets activity every time he's in that lobby. So, and there's a cell right across from there, and that's where he would see stuff in and out of that cells. And so my friend Linda and I went to solitary. He had a family member that died there, so we went to find his cell and communicate with him, and we were able to do that. I was able to help her with that. Then we went to cell 20, and they ended up had these scavenger hunt thing pictures. So I heard there was one in the upper upstairs, and so I left Linda in cell 20, and Linda got touched in cell 20, and then shortly after we got done, Bill and them set up a big laser grid through the whole cell block 4 to see this because shadows come in and out of those cells up on the catwalk. So we wanted to see if we could see the shadow play. So I hung out with them and sat there. Linda, she had her dead bell down at the other end communicating with something. So I sat there with Bill and we were watching shadows break the laser grid coming in and out. And have you ever done the old Blackford County Jail in Indiana? Have twice, very active. It's right by Monroe House. All of the video we got on the second trip I did there after we watched it just blanked out. We lost all of it at the end. That seems to happen quite a bit when you film at locations. I've noticed that you lose a lot of footage. I mean, I'll be reviewing DVR footage and something that we picked up on there, and then I'll go back, see it again, and it's gone. Which is it's weird how that happens. But no, I've never been to that prison yet. Um, I would love to go there. I mean, we get too busy with residential that we don't get to go to a lot of these bigger public places. Because we're too busy out doing residential investigations and helping people and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I know that happens quite a bit. Even if you're dealing with darker stuff, it'll happen. They'll manipulate your equipment and you'll lose all your footage and stuff like that. I mean, even talking about darker stuff messes with your equipment too. I do residential also. I don't charge. Yeah, we don't charge as well either. We will not charge to do residential. We don't charge to do a home cleansing, anything like that. We don't feel it's right that people should charge to do residential. And I mean, it's not like they can call a cop and say, "Hey, I got a ghost in my house. You need to come arrest it." I mean, you don't charge to do residential. I would love to go on one of those ghost tours some tour companies have in Jeff City on my bucket list. Yeah, I mean, Missouri State offers ghost tours. I mean, you can do a 2 hour, you can do a 6 hour with the Missouri State staff. I mean, Jenny's great. Uh, Reese is great. They're all great down there, them tour guides. We love them all down there. They treat us like family when we're there. I wish Diana was still there. She was another awesome tour guide, but she retired. We loved her too. The first time we went, she and stuff like that. Sheila's awesome. They're just a whole great group of people at Missouri State. That's why we always keep coming back. We love that place. Yep. Charge a smile. Yep. I agree on that. I'm gonna I'm gonna use that from now on, Granzer. Charge a smile. I mean, we don't even ask clients for food. I mean, we do get clients that offer to feed us. I mean, for their we thank them for their hospitality. I have a thank you sheet for thanking people for their hospitality and everything that I leave with them and stuff like that. I mean, we do get occasional that wanna pay us for coming out, and we're like, no, we don't. We don't want it. We don't accept it. We're there to help them. They invited us in to help them. That's what we're there for. We're not there to mooch off of them, charge them. We're gonna go there and help them. And that, for us, that's more of a sense of relief for us when we can see a client smile. They got their life back. They got their house back. They can carry on as normal. That's a sense of feeling for us. That's what we love, and that's why we love to do it. And I can be bribed with chocolate, right? I mean, we're in it to help people and educate, just like my cousins Ed and Lorraine did. They were in it to help people and educate. And I say it all the time. If it wasn't for these guys right here, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today. They are the pioneers of the paranormal field. Love them or hate them, that's what they stand for. They're the pioneers. They're the legends. And I'm not just saying that because I'm related to them, but I see a lot of the hate comments come out about the Warrens and about Nesper. It's garbage. Don't believe what you read. They just love to make up junk about it. Um, Russell, have you or your dad ever come across spirits or spirits that push back? Oh yeah, we have. I mean, my dad's been pushed to the floor. He's had bruises on him. Um, he's he's been hit. I mean, he's been grabbed quite a bit. Myself, I've been scratched. I've been hit. I've been thrown. I mean, they do, especially your darker stuff. They will fight you tooth and nail because they know what you're there for. They know why you're there. They know you're there to help that family, and they're gonna fight you and they're gonna push back. And I mean, not everything is demonic. Even a regular spirit will push you back because they're protecting what once was theirs. Russell, I can't recall which paranormal team that had said they came across a spirit that was saying, "You have no power over us." And when the team said, "You will be gone after we bless this area." And it's true, they don't. Your darker stuff has no, you have power over it with your faith. And I mean, it takes like us to come in and help you take that space back. I mean, some regular spirits are once former owners, so they're going to protect their house and they're going to protect what was theirs because to them, they don't realize it. To them, you got this house now, you're trespassing. And when somebody breaks in your house, you're going to want to hurt them. You're going to want to protect your space and protect your family. So that's all they're trying to do. And that's why they're scaring people too. I mean, if you take a house and start remodeling it, you're changing their space, what they're used to, and they don't like it. So that's why they start pushing back. But your darker stuff, that gets a little different. And I mean, it's very rare, but it does happen. I mean, it is real. It's out there. I mean, we've seen people levitate, eyes rolling in the back of their heads, upside down crosses getting scratched in their neck. It is a real thing. And I mean, the word gets thrown around quite a bit for views and all that stuff, but it is. It's a real thing. Spiritual warfare is a real thing. And I've studied this with a 40 plus year practicing demonologist who assists in exorcism, Sister Farrah Rose Perry, who used to be Sister Farrah Rose Deal. And I've heard the exorcism stories. That stuff, some of that stuff you see in the movies, not true, but there's some stuff where they fold up, their bones are cracking, levitating. That stuff is real. That actually happens. You seen the bruise? Yeah, yeah, I did see that. Spirit was saying something like, "You keep believing and thinking that right will be back," and it does happen. Part of it said, "How strong is your faith? Just not being afraid is not enough because we call on that scares us. Also, have you ever worked or have known anyone who has summoned? Yeah, we've worked on several cases like that as well. And for anybody that don't know, an incubus and a succubus is a sexual demon. They're the ones that come to you when you're laying in bed, and they will cause sleep paralysis. You feel like somebody's sitting on your chest. Their whole ordeal is to want to make more demons. That's basically what their job is. That's why they're a sexual demon. Your succubus is are they're bad demons, and yep, I've had that happen about the remodel. Yeah, and that's what their whole purpose is they want to make other demons, so they prey on you. They and so and I mean your darker stuff will lay in dormant. They'll wait years till the perfect time to come out. I mean, you may not realize it's there because it's laying in dormant. That's even doing a lot of cleansings and stuff like that. If you don't do a cleansing right and you go seal a house up, you're sealing. If that thing's not out of there, you didn't hit every nook and cranny or closets or heat vents, chimneys. You trap it in there. When that stuff dies down, it's going to go on to havoc and it's going to be even angrier. And that's when it really goes on the attack and it's really going to hurt. I mean, you've got low level ones, you've got high level ones. Your high level ones are a lot harder to get rid of. In the South, when you have that paralysis, they say the witch is riding. Yep, which is your incubus, your succubus demon. Also, I remember a story. A guy said he tried to summon a succubus, thinking he could control her. He could not. No, you can't. This is something I learned from Father Bob Bailey and Sister Farah and Tony Spera that he learned from my cousin Ed and Lorraine that a demon does not have to listen to you. They do what they want. That's why they lay in dormant. They they know who you are when you're born. They know your name. They know what kind of car you drive, your birthday. Even when we get called into a case, that demonic entity knows we're coming. It knows everything about us. And a bishop once told me the devil has our anybody that does light work, that fights the darker stuff, the devil has your wanted poster in hell. So, and like my cousin Lorraine always says, it takes a piece out of you every time. And she's not lying. It does. It does take a lot out of you. When we deal with them, we're down for sometimes a week. If it's even stronger, sometimes 2 weeks. We are completely drained. We have to do a lot of cleansings on ourselves. We're blessed before we even go in. He would have nightmares like 4 times a week, and every time he'd wake up to a wet dream and was told this was she wanted, and yep. And that's usually what happens. And like I said, a lot of times you get sleep paralysis with it. And so it is a interesting uh theory to look at. I mean, I don't suggest inexperienced investigators going out looking for demonic entities. You never challenge one either, because that could be bad. Um, stick with regular spirits. I mean, eventually you're going to run across something darker. If you do and you're new, back out. But don't, if you're doing a residential case and you run in one, don't abandon the family. Get them somebody that's more experienced, that's qualified dealing with it, to come in and take over. Just don't bail on a family. There's plenty of times I've seen where teams will go into a location, they'll start investigating, and then they walk out and they leave the client holding the bag. Oh, we did our investigation, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we'll be in touch. And then walk out. And then the clients never hear from them again. I've lost count on how many cases we've had to walk into and clean up other teams' messes because they just up and abandon them instead of knowing they couldn't either handle it or they're just doing it for the thrill. If you want to do it for the thrill, go out to an event and thrill seek. Go out to a public place like Missouri State or Waverly Hills, whatever, and do that. Don't go into somebody's house and think, oh, I'm going to thrill seek and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Now, you got to understand with residential cases, you're dealing with a lot of different energies there, whether it's psychological energy or past trauma history, stuff like that. Um, Dealing with people that have alcohol abuse or violence abuse, medications and stuff like that, it's a whole different ball game than going out investigating cemeteries or investigating Waverly Hills or these historical places. And residential's a lot harder. I remember your dad saying when he drove up here, he could feel a heaviness. Yeah, I mean, he did, and I also felt it as well. And in fact, Kathy, we're going to be getting a hold of you. We're going to schedule something with you, so I'll be in contact with you here pretty soon. The bracelet Judy made me with Lorraine's beads, I laid it on the little girl's bed about a week ago. We had holy water and blessed salt. I had my spirit box with me as I was sitting on the bed. The owner of the house was sitting on the floor by the bed. My mom was standing more over to the right. I had 3 cat balls, one on the left of me on the bed, one on the floor, and one on open window sill. Telling it to leave. As we were telling it to leave, I took the bracelet off and said out loud, "Who is Bay?" Are you talking about the Bay demon? Or was it a regular spirit named that? But but yeah, there's plenty of times we've had to go in the houses. There was one case we did in Nebraska that used to be an old blind school, and back in the 1800s, and down in the basement they had a cage, and the basement was dug out towards the back, and they had a cage that they used to shove kids in it when they were bad. Now these kids were blind; they couldn't see, and they would put them in there, lock them in there, and starve them. And then when they were done with them, when they would either pass away from being starved or what have you, they would lift up the plywood, dump it down the hole. Well, they had a team come in, and so this team didn't even last 10 minutes. They came in, investigated a little bit, just up and left and say nothing to nobody. They brought a priest with them that was a so-called priest. Don't don't know a priest that shows up to a house in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, but anything nowadays. I mean, but So they called us, and we came out there, and we spent the whole night out there, and we were able to help that family and get everything back to normal. I mean, her something was affecting her husband bad that she sent me a video, and he was sitting there, and he was acting like he was doing this, typing. She called his name, and he, didn't respond, and then finally she called it again. He looked up, and he had this blank stare, and his eyes were black, and he went, "Shh," and he was hitting himself, he was having seizures and all kinds of stuff, so we rushed out there, my dad and I did, and investigated, did a cleansing, and cleansed him. My dad worked with him, and everything's back to normal, everything is good, and, yeah, Kathy, we can't wait to come back. That we're gonna do the property and stuff in the woods that we had discussed, and, stuff like that too. Um, so I'll be in touch with you on that one. Cat ball on the bed was going crazy. They're coils. Question, Russell. What is the ratio you think of how many paranormal researchers act opposed to the thrill seekers? I mean, it's it's kind of a dying breed, kinda. It's wouldn't say it's like 50-50. I think there's more of the more thrill seekers looking for stuff like that than like us researchers that are out helping people. There's not many teams that do residential anymore because one, I think a lot of it too is because they're afraid of liability issues. And I mean there is a lot of liability issues when you're going onto somebody's property into somebody's house. I mean their personal belongings are there. So do you think the thrill seekers stir up more? Yeah, because they're out there, most of them are out there provoking and going about it the wrong way instead of doing it the right way. I mean, they're just doing it for the adrenaline rush and for the fun of it. I mean, yeah, it's fun to go out and do that stuff, but for us, it's a little different for us because we're more for helping people and stuff like that and educating than going out thrill seeking. And I mean, yeah, it's fun to go do some events once in a while. That's why you don't see us at very many public investigations that much because we're more doing the residential stuff for people and helping people. Um, we follow in Ed and Lorraine's footsteps with it, investigating residential and helping people and educating. That's my passion for it. We may have another. All right, awesome. Yeah, just let us know. Thrill seekers versus those who just want something to really exist. Yeah, I mean, if you believe it enough and you conjure that and psychologically in your mind, you're going to create those energies and make you start thinking you're seeing something psychologically. I mean, I could go and tell you that, hey, I see a little girl there in your house, but I don't actually see her, and I implant that into your brain, you're going to believe it. And then eventually it's going to keep working on you psychologically, and then you're going to manipulate that energy, and then eventually you're going to start seeing it. And then it's going to start freaking you out. You're going to start calling people like us to come in, and then we don't capture nothing because it's not there. EMF has a big factor for that as well too. I mean, we did a case in Indiana in an apartment building. These people called us in. Her kids had got taken away, and first thing I asked her, I said, "Are you on any medic?" I could tell just by the way she was acting, she was on some kind of medication, and I said, "Are you on any medications, antidepressants, anxiety?" And she was on both. So, if you're familiar with those medications, a lot of them cause hallucinations, make you see things when you get drowsy that are not there. Um, we did a baseline EMF reading of that whole apartment, and it was through the roof. Even the Mel meter was reacting to the EMF that was in there. Their breaker panel is right there in their kitchen, and she kept saying she seen a little girl in the corner. So when we set up the cameras, we set one in that corner, and she wanted us to sign court papers saying that Paranormal Activity got her kids taken away, which that don't hold up in a court of law. A judge will just laugh at you for that. Um, so we set up cameras, went to dinner, let the place calm down, come back, and she said, "Oh, that little girl appeared in the corner." So I rewound the video footage on the DVR. She was hallucinating because of the medication she was on and the EMF that was in that building. I mean, we were getting headaches, and she was complaining that it was paranormal activity that her kids got taken away. Wasn't the case. There was nothing paranormal in that apartment. It was just high EMF fields, and she wanted us to do a cleansing. I was like, "There's nothing to cleanse because you got a high EMF field in here. I mean, we can't get any definitive readings. Everything is just through the roof. We never got any EVPs, no REM pod hits, nothing on Spirit Box, nothing. Not even any camera footage." And we got looking in the kids' bedroom, and we came to the source why the kids were taken away. It was due to neglect. So, and the boyfriend went through and removed all the electronic smoke detectors. So they were throwing off EMF with them bare wires like that. Russell, the only experience I've ever had was when I dated my ex. Supposedly, her ex boyfriend, whom she left him for me, sought out help from a Native American skinwalker witch doctor. Her and I was talking in the bedroom, and a small set of books fell off a cupboard they were sitting in. Oh, yeah, I mean, you play with that stuff like that, but that darker stuff, them curses and stuff are real. I mean, and messing with a skinwalker is not very good because they always come back to claim them witch doctors were not very good when they were alive. So, I mean, one grabbed my father in a cemetery. So, and he kept having this bruise, kept appearing right here. I mean, so, and that's even when you play with the witchcraft, you play with that voodoo and all that stuff. You start doing spells and curses on people, it always comes back full circle. And if you don't know what you're doing with it, you can really do some damage to somebody else or do something to yourself. I mean, we had a guy that was messing with it on the internet, thought he was doing cleansings with witchcraft, which he's not initiated in or anything, didn't know anything about it. And he conjured up 3 demonic entities in his home. And he was sending me videos that he was catching on his Ring camera in his backyard. He had this black dog come up to his door. Now his backyard is all fenced in, nothing can get in. And the black dog had red eyes. That was a hellhound. And he kept researching on the internet, kept researching. Things started happening in the house. Him and his wife slept in 2 separate bedrooms. And he woke up one night. He thought something was bothering his wife. He takes a whole cup full of sea salt and throws it on top of his wife while she was sleeping. And we got there, did the investigation. We were running a spirit box, and we were getting mocking church music, Latin chanting, laughing, evil laughs at us. And this went on for about 2 hours. And I still have the audio recording from it. And I sent it off to my mentor, Farah, and she said, destroy this. She says, I'm not going to interpret the Latin for you. I'll just tell you right now, it's bad. Destroy the audio. And so we invest, which this case will be in my book as well. You'll be able to read more about it in detail. Um, but so we did the cleansing, and he turned to religion, and now he listens to religious stuff, and nothing's happened since we got it out, sealed the house up. Everything is good. But I mean, when you play with that, that's a good example. When you play with that stuff and you don't know what you're doing, you could potentially hurt yourself or hurt your family or bring something in. I've got 2 more chapters to go. I'm hoping to have it out probably September, October, the latest. I want to have it done for Rock Island Paracon, so I have copies there that people can purchase. And if it is out in time, anybody that does have buys a copy of it, bring it to Rock Island Paracon, or if you buy one there, and I will autograph it for you, along with my dad. He'll autograph it as well. So, but I mean, that's even Ouija boards too. You got to be very careful with them too. If you don't know what you're doing with them, you can conjure something up out of them too. I mean, we've dealt with numerous cases involving Ouija boards. Yeah, right. But I mean, as kids, you don't know. I mean, they made them as a game and sold them in stores. I mean, back then kids didn't know, and you open that doorway, whatever you let through, you think you're talking to a spirit named George, and you're talking. You're not talking to him. You're talking to somebody else. And it's all how you set your intentions. I mean, I'm my opinion. I'm not a fan of Ouija boards. I don't use them. Don't play with them. I mean, I'm not speaking bad about them. I mean, there's people that do them and nothing ever happens. But I've seen too many bad things from Ouija boards because people use them wrong. I mean, even though it's a spirit communication. I mean, doing Estes is the same thing. It's an invite. It's all how you set your intentions with it. If you set your intentions high and sent good, then you get something good out of it. But if you're gonna set your intentions bad, then you're gonna get something. Um, Even when you're doing Estes, you need to be protected because when you're under and you got these on, you got your blindfold on, all you're relying on is your sixth sense. You lose your hearing because you're listening to that static of the white noise. So, and that's why we only do 15-minute sessions, and then we pull that person out because it gets demanding on your body, and it will affect you after a while. And then we learned something from the mysterious Mike and Sam from Epic VIP events. They do a countdown when they're getting ready to pull somebody out of Estes, and it puts pressure on the spirit to get their last few words across. And so you got to be mindful with that. Even doing pendulums, same thing. Be mindful. Dowsing rod, same thing. All spirit communication, you got to set your intentions and make sure you got good intentions when you're doing it. Don't go there and, oh yeah, I'm big and bad. I'm gonna get under this Estes and I'm gonna challenge this and I'm gonna challenge that. You don't do that. Be respectful. Russell, your take on those who use Ouija boards as a tool, just like using cat balls? Um, I mean, like I said before, with intention, set your intention. I mean, I'm not against people using Ouija boards, but use it the right way. You get people that get drunk and want to play with them and think, "Oh, I'm gonna call my grandmother on that." And a lot of times, you're not calling your grandmother; you're talking to the Z demon himself coming through, and then he's gonna wreak havoc. That's why, if you notice, I've heard talk to a lot of people about who's used Ouija boards as a kid and had things. They start doing it, and then all of a sudden something happens inside the house. Something gets knocked over or thrown, or lights go out, and then people don't close that door. So you leave that door open. It's like a revolving door, just like a portal is. They go in and out, in and out. Everything get comes in and out. And same with mirrors. Mirrors are also portals as well. Um, that's why mirror scrying is dangerous work. Doing it, it's not good to do mirror scrying, and so I've seen people do it, and it's it's not the greatest to be doing that. It's dangerous doing that. Um, like my cousin Ed and Lorraine, they've got the Conjuring mirror right there in the Warren's Occult Museum, which was used by a guy in New Jersey trying to mirror scrying in it. Dated a gal who had a Ouija board story. It was in early 90s. She and four gals, 18, 19 range, shared an apartment. One gal was getting into black magic. Yeah, that's another thing, black magic, getting into that. When you get into that darker stuff, you're going to conjure up darker things because what is that? Negative energy. So when you're feeding that negative energy, you're feeding that darker stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with witchcraft and Wiccan if you're doing it for the good reasons and not the bad reasons. I mean, I'm not down in Wicca or anything like that. I mean, everybody has their own belief systems. Some work, some don't. I mean, my belief system is up there. He's what protects me on my investigations. I mean, I wear a St. Benedict's medal that's been blessed by the Vatican. My dad wears a big crucifix. You'll see it in our pictures on Facebook. We're wearing them. So she was studying to become a witch. She used Ouija board later on that gal witch could not keep a job and had to leave. She left the Ouija board behind. Yeah, I mean, when you start doing that, it starts wreaking havoc on your life with the darker stuff. That darker stuff, what it wants to do is crush you. It starts tearing everything you love dear apart. Family, friends, makes you sick, makes you tired all the time. You start waking up with bruises all over you and threes and stuff like that. And just like Ed and Lorraine said, even you see it even in the Conjuring movies. There's the infestation stage, oppression, possession. And infestation is where you start getting your knocks, your whispers, your door bangs, your clock stopping at 3 in the morning. You're getting your knocks and threes. And then the oppression is where it's already it picked its target that it wants. That's when it starts bruises, sleepwalking, mysterious scratches, you're irritable with your family, you're feeling sick all the time, you're tired. Um, you don't want to do nothing, you don't want to go out anywhere. And then eventually, if it goes too long, then you hit the possession stage, and that's where you need clergy to come in and do an exorcism. That's when you're really violent. You can't leave the house. They try to get you any religious items come around you, you freak out and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it is a real thing. So, and it does happen. I mean, I've seen it. I literally watched an upside down cross get scratched into somebody's neck while I'm standing there looking at him, and I know it wasn't self inflicted. And there's 3 or 4 other witnesses right there watching it. So, and it in that case was a bad case that we did, and that was our very first demonic case that we dealt with. And you'll read about that one in my book as well. It's in there too when it comes out. And let's just say that took about 6 months to get everything back to normal. That person was ready to kill her husband and everything. Her husband's such a nice guy. He's an EMT firefighter. The man's one of the nicest guys you want to meet in the world. And so that we took that case right to heart, and now we're like family to them. They invite us over to Thanksgiving dinner and everything. And my ex said that after the witch left, lights would be turned on in the middle of the night, stuff falling down randomly in another room. Yeah, because they conjure up stuff playing with that stuff. And so my ex threw that Ouija board away, and they all ended up going their separate ways and didn't renew the lease. Yeah, that's a smart way, but I'm curious if the Ouija board showed back up, because those you cannot just throw away. I was taught by Farah, take them off the property, burn them, take them out to a crossroads, and bury them, and bury the planchette separate from the board. That way, if the door is open at a crossroads, you got the cross. Whatever's coming through there is confused because it don't know which way to go. Or burning them is another one. She told me to. Hey, that is me. I don't go out anymore. A recluse. That you're watching me get scratched up. Yeah, I did see those pictures. Yeah, at Bathsheba's grave. Yeah, and like people say, Bathsheba was into witchcraft. The history is, I mean, there's and about the little boy that died in her care, that she used him as a sacrifice. According to my ex, the Ouija board never showed back up at her new place. Maybe one of the other girls had. It may have showed up at the one that was playing with it. Usually that's what happens. It shows back up to the person that was playing with it because they're the ones that opened that doorway. And so that's probably what happened. It showed back up at that one that was practicing witchcraft. And I mean, I've seen enough of those items, even in my cousin's museum, that were used in a lot of demonic rituals, sacrifices. I mean, they've got Halloween masks that were used in children's sacrifices. So, I mean, it studying demons it's actually a good thing to know because you know what to do if you come up against one. And trust me, you never want to challenge one. Like one person we know, I'm not going to say their names, but many people know who I'm talking about. and they're on a TV show. So uh, you never want to challenge the demonic entities, and even my cousin Tony Sparrow will tell you that. My cousin Wade will tell you that. Even in Ed and Lorraine's old videos on YouTube, they'll even tell you that. You never challenge a demonic entity because they'll always win in the end, especially if you get one of the stronger ones. There's a reason why they run in legions. I don't know their names. Good. Uh, Not only that, I've learned also if you have the demonic names of what's in there, you have that gives you power over it because they're the perfect liars. They will try so you don't get their name, but if you end up getting their name, then you got power over it. There was one case we did. A client was seeing a hoof coming around the cabinet. And this is another case you will read in my book. Um, and that case, I was actually live, and one of my medium friends who's legit, she was watching, and she says, "I feel there's something wrapped around you," meaning me. And then when we got up the stairs from the basement, it tried to go and get my one member, but it ended up throwing me into a door. It tried to push me down the basement stairs, but couldn't. And there was a portal in this house in the basement that we were able to seal up and get rid of. And come to find out, the client's wife played with a Ouija board as a kid. So this was something that followed her entire life, and she didn't know it. And you see how it lays in dormant till it picks its perfect time to strike. So, and now she's probably in her 50s, 60s, maybe now. So that shows you a little bit on how what they can do and what they know how to do. And like I said, it's an interesting field to study. I mean, when I started in the paranormal field, I stayed up. I worked on a golf course during the summer, so I got laid off. I was seasonal, so I got laid off in the winter because, as you know, New York gets piled with 2 feet of snow. And so I got laid off for the winter. So all I would do was stay up and I'd research. I mean, I would read a lot, stay up late at night. I would read on the demonic, study that. Anything I could learn in the paranormal field, Ed and Lorraine stuff, and that was before I even knew I was related to them. I would stay up and study and research and learn what they can do, the names and all that. And a lot of people ask me, "Why? How are you so knowledgeable in this?" And I said, "That's because I've done a lot of reading and studying. I mean, I've studied John Zaffis's stuff, and plus I still learn from Farah. I mean, I don't know everything. I'm not a professional in it, but there's no professionals in the paranormal field. I mean, we learn something new all the time. I mean, I still have questions on stuff. I still ask Farah, Wade, and Tony, and all those guys, and I still pick their brains on stuff. Like I got called about a locust demon which I'd never even heard of. So there was one I reached out to. Even my cousin Keith and Carl Johnson, they're demonologists. I reached out to them as well too on a lot of stuff too. And but it takes a lot out of you when you deal with that stuff, and it will seriously hurt you. If you don't know what you're doing, it will hurt you. And I mean, some of these YouTubers that are out there, "Oh, I confronted a demon." No, you didn't. if you did, you would know what to do, and you wouldn't be standing here right now if you did. I mean, I know they use it for the entertainment and for views to get people to view. I mean, that's a big word that people use nowadays, but I mean, like I said, it's very rare in locations. You do run across maybe one out of 99 cases you do, sometimes two. I mean, but they're there, and I mean, like the haunted objects too. I mean, they can inhabit haunted objects, and I get in debates about that all the time with objects. I mean, I know the dolls that I got that are now in the Warrens Occult Museum. They were demonic. They were causing heart palpitations to people. They were terrorizing a blind lady, and so, and when it comes across the spirit box and starts saying he lied, kill him, hit him with a shovel, you know what I mean? I mean, that's right there is a good indication. I mean, there are dark things that can inhabit objects, and with a doll is a perfect opportunity for to be a vessel for one of those darker things, because what are you going to want to do? Kids are going to want to hold it to their heart. They're going to want to play with it, bring it into their home, and there you go. Russell, do you think that those thrill seekers who run into a demon know about Aleister Crowley and when he allegedly summoned a demon? Probably not. They they're just doing it for views, and they probably don't know too much about it. If they really dived in deep and looked, maybe, but I don't. I mean, I can't speak for them. I don't know for sure, but they need to. I reached out to Dan a few months back about the case I was just telling you about. I don't know how to deal with coils. There are a pain. He didn't get back with me. Then I found out they were getting ready for the tour. Yeah, I mean they got extremely busy. I can understand that. We'll talk about it. Maybe we can see if we can come out, help out with it. I mean, we deal with a lot of it, so we might be able to help out with something like that. And I've heard of those. I just got to refresh my memory. I've studied so much on them. So, and Russell Crowley took steps to contain the demon. Do any of these there go out there actually think they can secure a demon? No, you can't secure a demon. They they do not want to be contained. They do not like to be contained. And like people like us that come in, they go on the defensive, and they will attack you. I mean, I've got scars on me from a case we did in Oklahoma dealing with stuff like that. And it gets rough on it. And the worst part of it is I was alone in that hallway. My dad was watching on camera because it was only him and I. It was an emergency. And so it came at me full force and gave me that warning like, "Hey, I'm going to hurt you if you keep coming at me." And I didn't back down. That's the main thing. They love it when you show fear because they feed off of it. But for someone like us that don't show fear, we don't back down. We're not gonna back down from it. we're there to help that family, and that's what our job is. If we have to take the hit for it, so be it. But we get the job done when it comes to that. How do you deal with them? Let me do some research on it and refresh my memory on them. I haven't dealt with one of them in a while. Um, beat them back. They come back. Basically, you got to get it out of there, get it pushed out, and then get the place sealed up so it can't come back. Mr. Reynolds, what went on? What went on in your head? Oh, Mr. Reynolds, did you talk to the dead? That sounds like a cool song, though. May have to write a song about that or something. But yeah, they're hard to get rid of when they don't want to go. They don't want to go. I'm a simple man. I see that Russell Reynolds of Beyond Life Paranormal Podcast posted a video. I clicked the video. But yeah, I mean, you get a strong low level one or a little easier to get rid of than a lot stronger higher level one. And two of the B ones, I'm not going to say their names because when you call their names, you can call them forward. They are two of the strongest ones and the hardest ones to get rid of. And I've ran into both of them in several locations that are not fun to deal with. Like I said, they know who I am. They know who my dad is and what we do. So, and so, and like I said, we follow a lot with Ed and Lorraine and their stuff. And I know a lot of people call them fakes and oh, Amityville is phony and all their stuff is fake. I'm going to tell you this. Again, they are the pioneers. They are the legends of the field. Back then, they didn't have the technology like they do today. And if you've done residential cases, you know client confidentiality. There's a lot of stuff you're not allowed to post. Even our clients are the same way. Oh, I don't want you to post this. I don't want you to post that. We have client confidentiality forms that they fill out. And people that say this, they were not there. They were never there. So how do they know? They just believe what people put out on the internet. Do your own research on them and don't listen to what people say about them and hate them. I mean, between them, Morris Gross, Harry Price, Hans Holzer, they're all legends in this field. They paved the way for all of us to do what we do. And everybody's seen, Matt and Elton bought the house. That's another thing I'm going to clear up because I've been getting bombarded with questions for that. Me and I'm cousins to Ed and Lorraine. They bought the house, but they didn't buy the contents of the museum. That is still owned by Nesper and my cousin Tony and Judy. So they just bought the house and they're gonna open it up for tours so you can tour the legendary Ed and Lorraine's house where a lot of people have sat. They've done lectures there, talked about cases, the Enfield case, the Amityville haunting in Connecticut, the Smurl case, everything. So, I'm excited for it to see what the future holds for it. I know they're gonna open it up for ghost hunting also, but for respectful ghost hunting. Don't go in there and try to call up Ed and Lorraine and all kinds of stuff. That'd be very disrespectful. Just be respectful. and be respectful of the location. That's a piece of history right there too. So I'm excited for it to see, and I'm excited for Nesper. Those guys are my family. I love those guys. They've always treated us like family as well. Um, Great guys to investigate with. I love investigating with Wade and Chris, even late Dan. Dan was awesome as well too. My cousin Dan Rivera. He's definitely going to be missed. So I mean that right there is still a little touchy subject for all of us. We're still kind of in the grieving process with Dan. We lost a good legend, and this is part of his legacy too that they're keeping alive, and we're gonna do our part to keep Dan's name alive and Ed and Lorraine's too out here in Missouri. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap up. Um, I think Squatchman, if he tunes in later to the replay, Russell, remember the bullying in the. Yep, I do remember. Um, and I mean, there's still a lot of the bullying going on in the paranormal field right now. It's just ridiculous. There's no need for it. The drama and the bullying. There's nobody better than anybody in this field. We're all the same. We're all after the same goal to prove the existence of life after death. Instead of bullying people, especially new investigators, teach them. Lift them up when they're feeling down or discouraged. Don't go out saying, "Oh, you can't go here, you can't go there. This is my location. I don't want you there." Or, "Oh, they suck as an investigator." What what are we teaching our future investigators that are coming up? We're teaching them it's okay to bully. Bad enough they get that stuff in high school. And so I mean, teach them, don't bully them. And you teams that are being bullied, you have a voice. And if you need someone to talk to, we're here for you. We're here to listen, and we're standing up against the bullying as well in the paranormal field because it's just ridiculous. We've been part of it too. I mean, we've had our share. I mean, I get my share because of being related to the Warrens. We get it from other stuff, and I mean, even the disgusting comments coming out about my cousin Dan Rivera, seeing all that crap. That's just disgusting. And people should be ashamed of themselves for that. And even about Ed and Lorraine, they're not here to defend themselves anymore. And people, oh, they were frauds, this and that. They were never frauds. Many people that I've talked to that called them frauds, I asked them to show me proof, and they couldn't show me proof. So they are the pioneers, and their legacy will still live on through each and every one of us. Um, and the bullying just needs to stop. I mean, the disgusting comments that are coming out about Dan, Ryan Buell, everybody, even other teams that are getting bullied and disgusting comments. Enough is enough. We're all in it for the same goal. Nobody's better than anybody. I mean, anybody can put on a ghost hunting shirt and call themselves a ghost hunter. That's not learn, teach, educate. That's what we're here for. And that's what we're going to continue to do. That was their legacy, Dan's legacy, and that's our legacy. We're going to continue to keep educating, helping people, and teaching people. And even with the objects, too, out of the Warrens Occult Museum, everybody's complaining about the Devils on the Run tour. I'm gonna tell you like this. Ed and Lorraine used to take them to locations and have an evening with Annabelle to educate people because they knew people couldn't get to the museum. And then the museum got shut down due to zoning issues. So they would bring these objects out, and that's what they're continuing, Ed and Lorraine's legacy. To- Ed wanted these items exposed to people to know what can inhabit these items. So, and I support them, and I will continue to support them, as well as everybody else that are being bullied in the paranormal field. You have a voice. Feel free to reach out to us. We support you as well. We believe in para-unity, even though para-unity is out the window right now because of all the dividing and everything. We support Get Haunted as well. They're good friends of ours. If you've never been to a Get Haunted event, I suggest you go. They treat everybody like family there. Anytime we've came, it was always love and hugs. They've never once bullied us, bashed us. Their events are awesome. You get to investigate, and it's just like they say in their ad. So, um, even the mysterious Mike and Sam, their events are awesome too. Make sure you check them out. Paranormal Task Force, same way. Check them out too. Their events are good as well. Um, Even our friends at Supernatural Inc. Make sure you buy some equipment from them. KD makes some kick-ass stuff. I mean, KD worked hard on that stuff. So that one jerk, you know who I was so mad. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's gonna continue to keep going on. I mean, the way things get blown up, everybody, like it's like that psychological thing. You put it in somebody's head, they're just gonna run with it. And so I just want to say this again: if you're being bullied in the paranormal field, you have a voice. Don't be afraid to speak out. We stand behind you. We're not going to judge you. If you got questions, ask. If you don't know something, ask one of us. We'll teach you. That's what we love to do. We love to educate and teach new investigators and stuff like that. Um, be in it for the right reasons. Don't be in it for the wrong. And I'm gonna end it here tonight with that. I hope everybody has a good weekend and stay safe out there. Stay humble. Again, if you're being bullied, feel free. You have a voice. Feel free to reach out. Um, and we will see you again next week. Same time, same channel. My guest next week is Empty Casket Paranormal Bill, who's an equipment maker and he owns a Ouija board museum. So that should be an interesting conversation. Bill and his wife Tanya are cool people. They will also be at the Rock Island Paracon as well. They are downstairs with us, so make sure you come out on October 4th and check the Rock Island Expo out. It's going to be a great one. Um, a lot to learn. There's several different investigators there, all different skill sets, from TV investigators to residentials to events. There'll be people that own haunted locations there, like Pac-Man Paranormal, that's got Fort Duffy and the Ditto House, and so there's readers there. I know the Patty Negri seance is sold out already. There's a workshop on building equipment is I believe is sold out, and so but there's other workshops going on. I know there's readings and galleries and all kinds of stuff out there. It's something for everybody. Kids are welcome. I think there's an age limit on the Warrens Occult Museum, but I'm not 100% sure unless they're accompanied by an adult. Uh, and so make sure you come out and check it out. You guys will love it. I will be plugging the event all the way till the event in October. So, oh yeah, I bet they will like your tattoo. But again, I thank you all for joining me, and I will see you again next week, same time, same channel. Stay blessed. God bless everyone, and we will see you again. Have a good night, everyone, and stay safe out there. Anybody that's out investigating tonight, be safe, and we will see you again next week.